Hey, what's going on, everybody? 757 back with another 1-4 scale model review, and this time we have the JC Wings Japan Airlines Boeing 787-9. This was a recent pickup for me. I'm really excited to have this one. I've been lacking a Japan Airlines aircraft in the collection. I think it's going to go really well at the airport. I'm eventually going to try to do. But yeah, this came in two different versions. There was a flap up version, which is the one I have, and then there's also a flaps down. I think the flaps down ones are cool. They just don't interest me though. I don't really see a purpose of them in my collection. Again, maybe like down the road, I think it was kind of like a cool like little niche thing, like a little niche thing to have. But for me, just personally, for like kind of like the goal for my aircraft that I would like to get, they just don't kind of serve a purpose, because you always kind of have to have them like either vacating the runway or on a stand. But I like to have my aircraft, at a gate or anything like that whenever I do get in the airport again. Yeah, really cool JC Wings box. They kind of customize theirs a little bit. This one's kind of similar to the Qantas 787 that I have, but there are a couple different slight differences. It's cool that they do have some specifications here on the back of the box. A lot of it's in meters though. So yeah, let's go ahead and unbox this aircraft. Let's get a look at the airplane here. And here it is, really nice. Obviously I opened this up a couple days ago. But yeah, really nice airplane. I do highly recommend this. If you're a fan of Japan Airlines, or if you're looking to get Japan Airlines to go to your airport or anything like that. So yeah, here it is unboxed, and we're gonna go ahead and get some close-ups here for you. All right, the plane is fully unboxed, so per usual, let's go ahead and get some close-ups here for you all. So if we zoom into the front of the aircraft, you have your L1 door with the One World logo, as well as the Japanese flag right above the One World logo as well. Ship number is 862, and then you have your L2 door right here with the, it doesn't look like they have the Japanese flag there, but there is the One World logo, but the Japanese flag is once again next to Japan Airlines. GENX, I believe, engines here, at least they say. Yep, GENX engines once again. You have your UNICEF logo right there. And then the registration is Juliet Alpha 862 Juliet. And then you have that Japan Airlines tail with the crane back there, looking really nice. And then you have the Boeing 787 logo. Looks like they don't do the Dreamliner logo, and they just go with the generic 787 logo. Go over to the other side here, we do have your forward cargo bin door. Forward cargo bin door, and then you have your aft cargo bin door, as well as the bulkhead door back there. Main gear doors, nose gear door, probably an E&E compartment hatch right up in there, ram air inlets right up there, your rat air turbine. Doesn't look like they have any decals here for the APU hatch, but that's perfectly fine, never gonna notice it anyway. And then over the wing, you do have that registration once again, as well with the red dot there as well, which all Japanese aircraft do have, because the ANA has that as well. Really nice aircraft. I think JC Wings did a fantastic job on this one. I know the livery is very simplistic. I know it's just a standard Euro white aircraft. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of the Euro white. I can agree to a certain extent. I think if it's done correct, I think it looks really nice. I think Japan Airlines is one of the airlines that have done it correct. I think it looks really classy. I like it a whole lot more than when they used to have the, I believe it was the Rising Sun tail in the back here. It was like the half red circle back there, and then just a JAL on the front. I do like this one a whole lot better. But another example that Euroweight is done correct is, I believe, Air France is another one. Finnair, they do a good job with it. I'm trying to think of other Euroweight carriers. China Eastern, I'm not the biggest fan of that one. I think that was a kind of a downgrade in their livery. I think the other one looks a little bit better. But yeah, I think if it's done correct, I think it looks pretty classy, and I think Japan Airlines kind of knocked it out of the park with their livery. Excuse me. So going over the fleet stats here, especially mainly just focusing on the 787-9. They currently do have 22 of them in service with 10 more on order. There are 3 different seating configurations on their 787-9s. One configuration has a total of 44 business class seats with 35 premium economy with 116 regular economy for a total of 195. Another one has 52 business class seats with 35 premium economy, then 116 regular for a total of 203. And then there is a third one, more of a high density one, but it's not really high density even for a 787-9. 28 business class seats, 21 in premium economy, and then 190 in regular economy for a total of 239. So not really high dense on these 787-9s compared to their domestic configuration that they have on a 787-8 that has a total of 291 seats. And then even compared to their domestic configurations on their Airbus A350s that seat 391. So I know there's a lot of domestic wide-body flying that goes on in Japan. I think that's one of the coolest things ever, that they have just 350s just flying throughout the country of Japan. And, you know, Japan Airlines does it with the 350, the 767, 787. ANA does it with the 777-300, the non-ER variant, 767s, 777s, and all that. I think it's pretty cool that they do that. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this one. Again, I highly recommend this aircraft. It's just a really cool looking airplane. I think JC Wings, again, like I said, did a really good job on it. So yeah, stay tuned for some more videos coming out soon. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.